My name is Winnie Kerubonguso. I'm a mother of one beautiful girl, Gianna Lexi Kemuto. I'm a journalist by profession, radio to be specific, but I'm not practicing that much. But wherever I am, I'm practicing a bit of it. Gigi, if I can say, I gave birth to Gigi at 7 months. So she was a preterm at 7 months. So I didn't expect, so like any mother, you could just expect that the baby would come, maybe be in the newborn unit to gain kilos and what have you. But that was not the case for Gigi. She was in ICU for about 12 to 14 days. So she was having sepsis, neonatal sepsis. That's infections for newborn babies, like preterm babies. So then after 21 days of life, when she had been transferred to the newborn unit now, the doctors told me that she has water in the brain. So I'm like, what the hell is that? So they're like, it's hydrocephalus. So then it's a big word, and then you're like, what does it mean? I went online, Googled. So when you Google, you get the shock of a lifetime. Like it's the lifespan for these kids is like this, is like this. You get the scare of your life. So, but it is hydrocephalus, and it was a shock on me. I didn't expect that. So then after a few days, she was having a myriad of infections. She was having 1 minute, they're saying she has, she needs plasma, her kidneys are not working well, she needs blood, and all sorts of those things. But we thought to seek a second opinion. I have an aunt who is how do you call it? She's a doc, but she's a pathologist. So with our consultations and a few doctors, we decided to transfer to Kenyatta. Because this end, they were saying they will put a shunt, a pipe that runs from the head and drains the water to the tummy. So we had to wait until she's 2 kilos, but it's the weight of the head that is growing and not the body. So we transferred to Kenyatta National Hospital. She was put on open oxygen, treatment was changed. Then by the 3rd day, pressure was increasing in the brain, meaning the water that is supposed to go down the spine is not going. So it's accumulating the head and making the head grow and eating up the brain and the space of the brain. So that means she cannot retain the milk that she's been given. So the 4th day, she went to theater. She was around 1 kilo and point something. So they explained that she might forget to wake up, because preterm babies forget to breathe and wake up after 72 to 78 hours. Or she might come back at 9:30. So you're sitting there praying, and God is God. So she came back at 9:30, and it was good. But from there on, she had a series of infections. She's having bronchitis. She's having, I don't remember the exact word, but she could turn pale, white as fish, go back to the hospital for transfusions. After transfusion, the shunt would fail. Yeah, after the first surgery, it was a success. So we said she gained a bit of weight. We went home. But after like 4 or 5 days, we were back to the hospital. So we could barely stay home for like a week. 4 days, we were back to the hospital because it will be a different thing. Now it's not the shunt. Then again, after a few days, it's not working. So the doctor at Kenyatta referred us to Kijabe Mission Hospital. So we went to Kijabe. They explained that they need to do a shunt. But now the time, I went like on a Tuesday. They told me to come back the following week on Tuesday. And then, now you're staying home with a kid she's not retaining food. So the pressure is so high in the brain. So I just had to look for a way and go back to the hospital and see how we can do it. So we went back, and I told them the pressure is so much, she's having convulsions, and so we were admitted. At that particular time, they did 3 surgeries at the same time for the tummy, the head. They removed the shunt, literally, and tried to create a pathway. Now they call it, in medical term, they call it ETV-CPC. So like creating a pathway that will go down to the spine and drained the water. But then, unluckily, they brushed the nerves for the eyes. So the eyes were okay, so they became more squinty. But the ETV CPC chances of working are 90%. So went home after 2 weeks. For Gigi, it was not like, that was not the route. It failed. The head shot from 40 to 58 centimeters in size. We went back for another operation. So they explained to us, like, they'll have to work on one side because they don't want to tamper with the other side. So there was a lot of tear and wear on the right side where the shunt is. So they went in for another one. So, but in between here, we were going back to the hospital because of maybe bronchitis. She is not having blood, saturation level is low. But then the last time we went for the final shunt was like, we had had enough. You're sitting there as a mother and you're like, God, let this be the last one, because they're working on a kid who is not even 3 kilos. So we went, the last shunt was done, and that was around November 2017. Late November 2017, early December, thereabout. So then I'm like, God, let this be the first and last thing that we're doing this. Because the procedure is a bit, scary, or rather painful, because when you're going in and the pressure is too much, they have to drain the water from the head. And they are not sedating. They'll take a very long injection this size, and they find the ventricles where they are, they insert it, and then they are pulling water that is coming out in bubbles. So then you see, for a small baby, it's hectic. But the last shunt was successful. We went home, where we were staying in Nairobi. We went for the last clinic and we came back home. The first time when I saw the baby in ICU, she was with another kid. So they were like 2. So I'm like, oh, this is the end of the world. I had a CS. So you're wheeled the following morning to ICU, and then you're finding 2 kids, and then you're like, okay, this is the worst bit of it. Here now there are 2. So then the nurse there encouraged me and told me, you know, the more you cry, the more you're not hopeful, the baby will not fight. So she opened the curtain. There was another kid there who had stayed there for like 2 years. He was on life support machine. Then she told me, look at this baby and look at your baby and make a choice. Because Gianna here, she's pulling the ventilator, she's pulling everything, and she's barely hours old. That one cannot even move. So then that is when I snapped out of the crying. I gathered the strength. I was having pain, but I walked to my ward. And the way matter is, you will turn, there's so many, until you get to the maternity wing, you'll have to go a long way. You're having an open wound, so you have to walk. So like, if it needed me to be strong at that time, I chose to be strong and focus on this baby. Yeah. So like, my faith in God grew. So like, I was happier, and my baby's chances of survival were here. So then I was like, I have to do this. I'm doing this. So then I'm like, God, you know, you gave me this baby. You could have taken her. I wake up from theater and then she's not there. But so long as I've held her, I'm willing to walk whenever you want me to walk to. The farthest place you want to take me to, I'm willing to go, but I'm not releasing this baby. So I was so hopeful. I was so determined. Even the doctor says, even if the doctor tells me, Winnie, we cannot do this, because there's a time the doctor at Kenyatta was like, you know, Winnie, my hands are tied. Professionally, I've hit a dead hand. Yes. So you seated there, that situation where you are like, you're closing your eyes, but you cannot pray. So you're assuming God is seated right here. Yeah. So I'm like, God, you know what? You have to fix this for me. If it's my, whatever form you're going to give me this baby, totally disabled, she can't talk, she can't sit, she can't eat, this is my baby. Yes. So then I'm telling the doctor, do your path, I'll talk to God. So I reached points where I'm quarreling with God, literally. I can't remember a verse in the Bible. I don't know if it's Job or something like, God took everything from him, but he still kept going. People were laughing at him, but he still kept going.
The doctor?
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm saying the Job in the Bible. Oh, okay. God took everything, but he still stood. Okay. So then me, I was not willing. I was not going to allow God to take this baby, because this was my everything. My focus was here, not even my healing or something. Mm-hmm. So then you I tell the doctor, just do your part. I know God is going to fix this. And gladly he did. But I didn't know how long it will take for us. But at that point, after the last surgery, we were okay. So I had to come back to Kisii and report to work. So now the heartbeat was the healing process. Because in the process, I lost myself into postpartum depression. I didn't know I was depressed.
Yeah.
So I went into postpartum depression and then depression itself, because there was a lot happening around at that time. But now my focus was the healing bit of G and how am I going to walk out of this.
So maybe to take you back a little bit, when you were pregnant with G, when you used to go for the checkups at the clinic, and maybe during the whole time, did it ever cross your mind that maybe the baby could come out that way, or it would happen that way, or you're just like any other normal pregnant woman or lady?
It was a normal pregnancy, totally normal.
So no
even
signs,
no signs of anything. This hydrocephalus thing came up at when she developed severe neonatal sepsis. That I think it's a bit of meningitis mixed with a lot of things that I can't understand. Then when meningitis comes, it either kills or something just happens. So then it blocked the flow of the spinal fluid. So there was nowhere this fluid was going. It was accumulating in the brain. Otherwise, my pregnancy was okay. I just went into labor at 7 months and I was laughing and I'm like, how did it happen or something? So then later I came to realize that the amniotic fluid I had was not enough to hold this baby to term.
Okay.
And that's the bit I didn't know early. Yeah.
And so did you get to hold her after the CS, or you just the first time you saw her was in an incubator?
I held this baby after a month. And then I was very scared. I didn't hold her because they totally sedated me. Like I slept the entire time they were doing the operation. So when I recovered, I would only see blurry visions of her, and then I was told I would see her in the morning. So I didn't get a chance of holding this baby, or rather bonding. So 1 month you're expressing milk, she's feeding on tubes. So after a month, that's when you're trying to hold her. She's too tiny, barely a kilo of sugar. So you're scared of holding her because maybe you would hold her and then the shawls covering her she would fall over and you end up holding her. It was scary, bit of it, but when I held her, I felt warm. I felt the need to fight. I felt the need to go on and on. So I've stayed in Nairobi from, let's say, from May 28th to December the 29th. So that's a whole lot. So I have to come back and report back to work in January. I'm depressed. I don't know I'm depressed. Some people around me, they don't know I'm depressed. But me, the will I'm having is my baby. It's my baby, not even me. So in the process, I lost myself. I lost a lot of weight. So you're coming home, you're financially drained. You don't know. Yeah, you're working. You have a permanent job. But you don't know where the next treatment for the baby, because she's on supplements. She needs therapy. You need to pay the nanny. You need to buy food. You need to fix things. But then now you've spent so much in hospital, and then here you are. Life has to go on. You have to fix things. Then it becomes difficult. So it was a journey that wasn't so nice, wasn't so smooth. I have a family and friends who think I'm the strongest person, but that's just a narrative. It's how I carry things. But I'm the weakest. I can say I'm the weakest person. But at the same time, this weakness is my strength. So I came back. In the office, I have a very good boss who is my editor. I think he's the only guy who knew I was depressed, and tried to make the environment conducive for me, make sure that I've eaten, make sure that I'm going to work. My timing is flexible, so I will report to work at 10 and leave at 1. So the moment I miss my baby, I'll just carry my bag and go home. So it was my baby. I'll wake up in the morning going to the shower. I just black out. Ron, I can't tell you what would happen. I'll wake up in the hospital. My dad has come all the way from where he used to work, and I'll find myself in Aga Khan, like, what happened? You passed out. I didn't know it was depression. The African parents, my dad didn't, he knew I was going through something, but he couldn't put a finger or something. And there's some fathers who are very reserved,
Yeah.
or rather even mothers. So they understood, yes, I'm going through something, but they didn't know what. So I'm here, I'm crying myself out to sleep. I'll have to cry, lock myself and really cry, because now it was taking a toll on me. I lost a lot of weight. But people out there, they think Winnie's strong, she can fix this. But trust you me, I needed a shoulder to lean on. I needed somebody I could talk to, somebody who could feel the exact thing I'm feeling, but it wasn't there.
No one was there for you?
Like that person bit you would, I would call, Ron, I want to cry. I want to tell you this and cry. And you're there seated and listening to me.
Yeah.
I didn't have that bit. And then I wasn't in a position of, explaining this to my mom or my dad. I think the only person who understood was my younger brother, the smallest. He had finished Form 4. So he could see the pain I'm undergoing, but he couldn't just ask me. But it was that shoulder. He could just, carry my baby and try to do things, bathing the baby, come with his friends. He had finished Form 4, so fix things around. He knew I was going through something, but he couldn't. But I can say he was there. My family was there and a few friends. But it was hard. It was the toughest bit of my life. You are in this. This is a new condition. Yeah. You're a new mother. Mm-hmm. Financially, you're not even there. I can't tell my dad, Dad, I don't have money to pay rent. I don't have money to buy food. But my parents would come and stay in my house. Mm-hmm. I think that is the best they will do, mm-hmm. and be around. But I never spoke one bit that, I'm undergoing this. This is becoming too much. No, you're the firstborn. You have to fix things because they know Winnie can fix things. Winnie can fix situations. Mm-hmm. But I thank my boss. He understood. Mm-hmm. So he was very flexible. There could come things like trainings. He could allow me to go. The office was conducive. My other colleagues in my department were like, okay, Winnie, we can step in, mm-hmm. for you. So every time I think I was depressed to a point that the only thing that mattered was my baby. If there's a thing I can do for this kid to be okay. So I found myself making up for the time maybe like I lost in terms of bonding with this baby, hospital. Mm-hmm. I was always trying to make up for the pain she underwent. And by this, I could buy her everything that, I thought would fix. Mm-hmm. Her birthdays, I will do. Some people would think it's extravagant, I'm overspending, but I'm trying to make up for this. Yeah. And the doctor is telling you that, Winnie, now, this situation needs your whole, holistically. You walk in whole, not half-baked. Mm-hmm. So this kid needs 100 or rather 200% love and affection, and they feel it. Mm-hmm. And you have to accept this is your situation so that even God can fix it, mm-hmm. for you. So then I went into a situation. I didn't know whether my kid will sit, whether she will walk, whether she will talk, or do normal things other kids will do. So the milestones. Mm-hmm. So you're there, you're like, what, a day at a time, God. She was around 6, 7, 8 months, thereabout. We'll come back to Kisii. Mm-hmm. She was born in May 28th. So May 28th, we're in Kisii in January, Feb. So you're there, you're trying to fix this situation. It's a whole thing. Mm-hmm. Society will have opinions. Yeah. Me, I lost people I thought were friends. I lost people I thought were family. I lost people because of this particular kid. Because, mm-hmm. They're like, this type of kid maybe is not needed here, or she will not make it. Mm-hmm. So then I lost them. And the best way I handled it is, what? Your opinion doesn't count. Mm-hmm. It's my kid. And if God can't give you something wrong, you can't handle. So I took it graciously. Mm-hmm. I took it positively. Like, this is my baby. I'm going to do whatever I want to do with this kid. Mm-hmm. So you and your opinions
don't matter.
Yeah. So I shut out people that I thought, or rather we were very close with, mm-hmm. because they had opinions. They didn't know what I was going through. Yeah. So I didn't need all this pressure, mm-hmm. in my life. So I shut them out and focused on this kid. And on the way God is God, I think when you accept your situation, mm-hmm. regardless it's a disability or something, mm-hmm. when you accept your situation, there's a way God makes it lighter for you. There's a way. Mm-hmm. God gives you like a stone, mm-hmm. and throws it at you and like, Ron, what can you do with this stone? Some will package it and put it there. Some will put it as a decoration. Some will try to hack and find a way, like, what can come out of this stone. So what I did with this stone is, what beautiful can come out of this. So, and I went that direction. And it has been beautiful. I lack the right phrase to put it. So if you've met Gigi, so she's a whole vibe. She's definitely life. She's love. I think she's everything I've ever prayed for. But I didn't pray for it in that form. Yeah. But it came in that form. Yeah. Nobody talked to me about it. I took it wholeheartedly, like, this is my baby. Because I was having nurses like, we'll have another baby. And then I'm like, who tells you I'll have another baby? This is my baby. At the age I got this baby, like a young mother, so people are like, why is this girl so determined to keep this baby? It didn't take me time. I knew this was my baby, and I knew I needed to do it, and I knew that God gave me this kid for a purpose. So I just took it arms on and told God, what, if it's my faith you're testing, let's go. I didn't learn anywhere. I didn't go for any training. I had a very good pediatrician and neuro back at Kenyatta. So she was like, Winnie, you have to give your all. And when I was talking to them, because I could call them in the middle of the night, like the pediatrician, she's an old lady. I'm like, Dr. Karanja, she's having convulsions. In the middle of the night, she will come. I saw that commitment. And I'm like, this is my baby. Why not commit? The neurosurgeon, there's a day she was supposed to go to theater, but this doc was at Coptic Hospital. And then I'm like, Dr. Njiru, you'll find me at the door of theater. There's no way I'm staying with a baby who has so much pressure in the brain. Then, he will stop whatever he's doing at Coptic and come handle this baby. So I saw the energy. They're resilient. They were trying to handle their patient. And then I'm the mother. I have to do this, and I have to get it right. So I just jumped into it like, I didn't have a manual. I didn't know it. I just knew I would give my all. And I'm a person, when I do something, I give it my 100%. I had a good nanny. She understood my situation. You're paying us some money, and then this money is not coming through. Okay. So she committed herself for the time. She was very delicate. She would be there. And then I would give her time off. Like, I will take a leave for a month and stay with the baby, and she goes. Or even 2 weeks and goes. Because, she has another life apart from this particular baby. Yeah. So then we went with a bit of therapy in there. Because I wanted to see my baby okay. So I was trying. If there's something that would fix her to sit, something that would reduce the head, something that will make, because then she received a lot of treatment, so some of her muscles were numb. She couldn't sit properly. So then I had to find ways to make things better for us. Oh. I can't describe that. Like you're seeing other kids running around, yours is taking forever, and then one time she does it. You're like, and it's everything. All those little steps, Gianna sitting upright, actually she started talking fast.
Before anything?
Before anything. Okay. Before sitting upright. Jill would count for you, Jill will talk a bit of words, and then she doesn't have teeth in the mouth. So then I'm like, okay, God, what are you trying to teach me? So I was like, this is a big deal for me. So when she started walking, she's not stable up to date in her walking, but I live for that moment. I live for everything. Yeah. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And as a parent with a special needs kid, I will say, like, never compare your kid with kid B, C, and D, because they're all different. Their things come at a given time that God has allowed it.